My daughter looked up at me with tears in her eyes, clutching a crumpled drawing she had made at school. There was our house, our dog, my wife and her, but the man standing beside my wife wasn't me. Before I could even ask what it meant, she leaned close to my ear, her tiny hands trembling, and whispered a name I had never heard before. That was the moment my entire world began to fall apart. But before we start today's story, please subscribe to the channel and like this video. My name is Daniel Carter. I'm 38 years old, and until 6 months ago I believed I had the kind of family every man dreams of. My wife Emily Carter was 35. We had been married for 11 years. Our daughter Lily Carter had just turned 9. She was bright, creative, and unusually observant. She loved drawing more than anything. Every room in our house had one of her colorful pictures taped to a wall or hanging on the refrigerator. That Friday afternoon started like every other. I left work a little early because Lily's elementary school was holding an art exhibition. Parents were invited to see what their children had created during the semester. Emily texted me around noon. "Running late. Can you pick Lily up?" I smiled. "No problem." Nothing about that message seemed unusual. The school gym was decorated with paintings, paper flowers, and handmade crafts. Parents walked around proudly taking pictures while children ran between tables, excited to explain their artwork. When Lily spotted me, she ran into my arms. "Daddy." I lifted her off the ground and hugged her tightly. "Ready to show me your masterpieces?" She nodded enthusiastically. I saved the best one for last. We spent almost 30 minutes walking from table to table. There were landscapes, animals, superheroes, and family portraits. Then Lily led me toward a small easel in the corner, this one. At first glance, it looked beautiful. Our blue house, a bright yellow sun, flowers in the yard, our golden retriever Max. Then I noticed the people. There was Lily. There was Emily, and standing beside Emily was a tall man wearing a green jacket. I looked around the page. I wasn't anywhere. I forced a small laugh. "Sweetheart, where am I?" Lily suddenly became quiet. Her smile disappeared. She stared at the drawing instead of me. I forgot. She had remembered every flower, every window, even Max's red collar. But she forgot me? I knelt beside her. "It's okay. You can tell me." She glanced over both shoulders to make sure nobody was listening. Then she leaned close enough that I could feel her breath against my ear. She whispered one word. "Michael." I frowned. "Who's Michael?" She looked frightened. I wasn't supposed to tell. A chill ran through my body. "Who said you weren't supposed to tell?" She didn't answer. Instead, her teacher walked over smiling. "Mr. Carter, Lily is one of the most talented artists in the class." I quickly forced another smile. "She definitely is." The conversation ended there, but my mind didn't. The entire drive home, Lily barely spoke. Normally, she filled every car ride with stories at school. That afternoon, silence. When we reached home, Emily was already there. She greeted us with her usual smile. "How was the exhibition?" Lily ran upstairs without answering. Emily looked confused. "What happened?" I pulled the drawing from Lily's backpack and handed it to her. She laughed. "That's adorable." I watched her carefully. "Who's Michael?" Her smile froze. Only for a second. But I saw it. "What?" "That's the name," Lily whispered when I asked who the man in the picture was. Emily frowned. "I've never heard that name." "You sure?" She looked directly into my eyes. "Daniel. She's 9. Kids imagine things. Maybe she was right. Maybe I was overthinking, but something inside me refused to let it go. That night I tucked Lily into bed. Just before turning off the light, she grabbed my wrist. "Daddy? Yeah? If Mommy gets mad, will you still love me?" My heart stopped. "What are you talking about?" I wasn't supposed to say his name. I sat beside her. "Lily." She looked terrified. "I don't want Mommy to cry." I gently brushed her hair away from her face. "Nobody's going to be angry with you." She hesitated, then quietly said, "He comes over when you're working." Every muscle in my body tightened. "What do they do?" "I don't know. Have you seen him?" She nodded lots of times. I struggled to keep my voice calm. "What does he look like?" "He smiles at Mommy." "Mommy smile back?" Another nod. Then Lily said something that made my blood run cold. They hugged for a long time. I barely slept that night. Every possible explanation raced through my mind. Maybe he was a neighbor. Maybe a family friend. Maybe Lily misunderstood something innocent. I wanted to believe that. I needed to believe that. The next morning, Emily acted completely normal. She made pancakes. She laughed at a television commercial. She kissed me before I left for work. Everything looked perfect. Too perfect. Around noon, I called home. No answer. I texted Emily. Nothing. An hour later, she replied, "Sorry, I was taking a shower. Simple enough. Except, our home security app sent motion alerts whenever someone entered through the front door. Normally, I ignored them. That day, I opened the history. There it was. Front door opened. 11:47 a.m. closed. 11:49. Opened again. 1:06 p.m. closed. 1:08. Someone had visited while I was at work. Maybe it was a delivery. Maybe it was Emily's sister. Maybe. I checked the camera. The subscription had expired 2 weeks earlier. No recordings. I stared at the blank screen, frustrated. That evening, I casually asked, "Anyone stop by today?" Emily didn't even hesitate. "No." The answer came too quickly. "What about your sister? Haven't seen her in days." She continued washing dishes without looking at me. Then she asked, "Why?" No reason. She finally turned around. For the first time in years, she looked nervous. Over the next week, little things began piling up. Emily suddenly started locking her phone. She began taking evening walks alone. She smiled at messages she wouldn't let me see. And every Tuesday afternoon, she insisted on picking Lily up herself. One Tuesday, I left work early. Instead of going home, I parked across from Lily's school. Emily arrived exactly at 3. She hugged Lily, then they drove away. I followed from a distance. Instead of taking the usual road home, she turned toward the opposite side of town. My heartbeat quickened. She parked at a small neighborhood cafe. 5 minutes later, a black SUV pulled into the parking lot. A man stepped out, tall, dark hair, green jacket, exactly the color Lily had drawn. Emily smiled. He smiled back, then they embraced. Not a quick greeting. A long, comfortable, familiar hug. Inside my car, I gripped the steering wheel so hard my hands hurt. Lily climbed out of the back seat. Instead of looking surprised, she ran straight toward the man. He knelt down. She hugged him tightly. Then he reached into his pocket, handed her a small wrapped gift, and she laughed as if she'd known him forever. I couldn't breathe. The picture, the name, the whispers, the secret visits, none of it had been imaginary. But what shattered me even more was what happened next. As the man stood up, Lily looked around nervously, then pointed directly toward the street, toward my car, toward me. His smile vanished instantly. He slowly turned his head, and our eyes met. The moment our eyes met, time seemed to stop. The smile disappeared from the man's face. Emily turned in the direction Lily was pointing, and the color drained from her face. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then the man quietly said something to Emily. She looked terrified. Instead of walking away, she started walking toward my car. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely unlock the door. Emily stopped beside my window. "Daniel," I didn't answer. She tried again. "Please, let me explain." I looked past her at the man standing beside Lily. He wasn't trying to run. He wasn't hiding. He simply stood there, looking as nervous as I felt. I stepped out of the car. "Who is he?" Emily swallowed hard. "Not here," I laughed bitterly. "After everything, you still want to choose the place?" People outside the cafe had started staring at us. The man slowly walked over. He kept his hands where I could see them. "I'm Michael. I know your name. I think you deserve the truth." I looked at Emily. "Then tell me," she burst into tears. "I wanted to so many times." "Tell me what?" Instead of answering, Michael spoke. "I've never had an affair with your wife." I almost laughed. "You expect me to believe that after what I just saw?" "The hugs?" He nodded. "They weren't romantic. They looked romantic." "I know." I turned toward Emily. "Then explain." She wiped her eyes. "Please, come home. I'll tell you everything." Against every instinct telling me to drive away forever, I followed them home. Lily stayed unusually quiet the entire ride. When we reached the house, Emily asked Lily to go upstairs. Before leaving, Lily hugged me tightly. "I'm sorry, Daddy." I kissed her forehead. "You've done nothing wrong." As soon as she disappeared upstairs, I faced Michael. "You've got 5 minutes." He took a deep breath. "I've known Emily for almost 12 years. That sentence alone felt like a knife." Emily nodded. "We met before you and I started dating." I stared at her. "You never told me." "Because I thought that chapter of my life was over," Michael continued. "We were engaged." My knees almost gave out. "You were what?" Emily closed her eyes. "We were engaged, but we broke up." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "So after 11 years of marriage, you suddenly became friends again?" She shook her head. "No." Michael reached into his backpack and carefully placed a thick brown envelope on the table. "Open it." Inside were medical reports, hospital records, old photographs, letters. One picture showed Emily standing beside a hospital bed. Another showed Michael with his left arm in a cast. I looked at the dates. Every photo was from more than 12 years ago. Michael quietly said, "The engagement ended because of a drunk driver." I frowned. "What?" Emily finally found the strength to speak. "We were driving home one night when another car crossed into our lane." Her voice cracked. "I survived." Michael looked down. "Our unborn baby didn't." Silence filled the room. Emily continued crying. I couldn't handle the grief. Michael nodded. "So we separated." He continued, "We never spoke again." I looked at Emily. "If that's true, why is he here now?" She looked ashamed. "Because 6 months ago," she hesitated. "Michael's daughter was diagnosed with leukemia." I blinked. "What?" "My wife passed away 3 years ago," Michael said softly. "It's just me and my little girl now." Emily added, "I work with a children's charity." It suddenly hit me. Every Tuesday. She had told me she volunteered. I had barely paid attention. Michael continued, "The charity helped pay for my daughter's treatment." I looked at Emily. "So why keep it secret?" Her tears returned because I knew the moment you heard his name, you'd think the worst. And instead of telling me, I panicked. I couldn't deny it. Finding out she had once been engaged to him would have shocked me. Keeping it hidden had only made everything look worse. But why was Lily hugging him? Emily smiled sadly. Because she's been helping his daughter. I frowned. What? Lily makes drawings every week. For who? A little girl named Sophie. Michael reached into the envelope again. This time he handed me dozens of colorful pictures. Every single one was signed in Lily's handwriting. To Sophie, you're brave. You'll beat cancer. Love, Lily. My eyes filled with tears. I remembered Lily asking if she could use extra crayons, the craft supplies, the handmade cards. I had never asked where they were going. Michael smiled for the first time. Sophie keeps every single one beside her hospital bed. Then another memory suddenly hit me. The family picture. Emily nodded. Lily wanted Sophie to imagine what a happy family looked like. I frowned, but why weren't I in it? Emily looked upstairs toward Lily's room. Because. At that moment, Lily slowly walked downstairs. She had obviously been listening. Her little voice shook. Daddy. I knelt in front of her. She held the drawing against her chest. I didn't leave you out because I don't love you. Then why? Tears rolled down her cheeks. Because Mommy said Michael gets lonely. She pointed to the picture. So I drew him standing beside Mommy. My heart tightened. So Sophie wouldn't think her daddy was all alone. I couldn't speak. Lily continued crying. I drew you somewhere else. She flipped the paper over. On the back, there was another drawing, me, holding Sophie's hand inside a hospital room. Above us, she'd written in crooked handwriting, Daddy helps everybody. I completely broke down. All week, I had convinced myself my marriage was ending. But through the eyes of a 9-year-old girl, she had simply tried to make another child feel less afraid. I hugged Lily tighter than ever before. I'm so sorry, she whispered. Are you mad? No. I kissed her forehead. I'm proud of you. Then I turned toward Emily. I should have asked questions before assuming the worst. She nodded through tears. And I should have trusted you with the truth from the beginning. Michael quietly stood. I think it's time for me to go. I stopped him. No, he looked surprised. I owe you an apology too, he smiled gently. You don't owe me anything. I judged you without knowing your story. A few days later, Emily took me to meet Sophie. She was only 8 years old, tiny, weak from chemotherapy. But the moment she saw Lily, her entire face lit up. She pointed toward a wall beside her hospital bed. It was completely covered with Lily's drawings. Rainbows, animals, castles, superheroes, family pictures, even the one that had nearly destroyed my marriage. Sophie smiled at me. You're Lily's daddy. I am, she grinned. I knew you'd come one day. I couldn't hold back my tears. Over the next several months, our family began volunteering together every weekend. Instead of allowing suspicion to destroy us, we chose honesty. Instead of hiding painful memories, we shared them. Michael eventually became one of my closest friends, not because of our past, but because of what we both loved most, our children. A year later, Sophie rang the hospital's remission bell. The entire hallway erupted with applause. Lily cried louder than anyone. Emily held my hand. Michael hugged his daughter. And for the first time, that family picture finally made perfect sense. Sometimes love isn't about replacing someone. Sometimes it's about making room for someone who's hurting. If there's one lesson my family taught me, it's this. The stories we create in our minds are often far more frightening than the truth. Trust is built through honest conversations, not silent assumptions. Before you let suspicion destroy the people you love, take the time to ask, listen, and understand. One honest conversation can save a family that fear would have torn apart. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who believes in the power of trust, compassion, and second chances. Until next time, take care of yourselves and the people you love.